Control feels like competence, and I know I'm controlling. Uh, and for a long time, I thought if I was not involved in every step of every single thing that I'm doing, that it just wouldn't get done properly. And I think I finally figured out that it's not really about you know me touching every part of this process. I just didn't really have an idea of what would my role really be if I wasn't involved in every single part of this process. So, I have been relinquishing control a lot lately on a lot of different things and trying to focus on the things that I know I do very well. Um, when you start doing this business and you do remodeling and you purchase houses for flipping, you have to do all of it. You need to do you're the acquisition person, manager, and you're the project manager, and you're the listing agent, even the leasing agent, property management, your collections. You do all this stuff, and that's doing all of that for a period of time will give you the confidence you need to continue and to maintain this business. But it also, and I think a lot of people make this mistake, especially me, where doing all those things and making you confident in what you're doing, it also makes you feel like that if you're not doing it, then it's not going to get done, and there's some kind of risk there. So I get in the beginning, control is very important, and most people don't survive the business without having this control. And I don't even like remodeling. I kind of hate construction at this point. I hate going to Lowe's. I hate going to Home Depot. I don't really like any part of it. I like finding the house and I like figuring out what we're going to do with it and getting the simple basic plan together. But all the day to day part of that, I can't stand it. Like, I can't even stand walking into the hardware store at this point because there was just times where I was like living there every day. Like, and I loved the people working there back when they had the pro desk at Lowe's. At you know, I can't, I just can't stand going there at this point. But I'm I think I'm kind of the minority in that. There's people who absolutely love the remodel process, and a lot of people who do this love being a part of that. Uh, and for me, I don't care much about really what colors we pick or what finish we do. To me, this is all a means to an end, right? And what is that end? It's I'm buying the house, we're improving it, we're going to rent it or we're going to sell it and we're going to profit off it. That's the whole point for me. Whereas a lot of people absolutely love the transformation. I do like seeing the before and the after and a little bit of the in between, but I don't love it enough to just be a part of it as much as I was before, right? But I insisted on being the one spearheading these projects for a long time, and mainly I just didn't trust anyone to do it. I didn't think that anyone's going to do it to the standard that I wanted, and if something went wrong, then at least I'm the one responsible for it. I had no one else to blame, and I think that was an important thing, right? Part of doing this for any length of time is figuring out the delegation. Where I think some people try to delegate too early when they don't know enough about this process to delegate, and that's kind of the ones who they do this and the project doesn't work out right from the very first project and they never try it again. But I think you need to be a part of this at least for a few, and you need to know the process very well and you need to know what we're doing. But at some point, you don't need to be the one running everything day to day on the remodel side. Like, I've let go of control on management because we've brought people in who actually kind of enjoy it, right? I've let go of a lot of the remodel part where I'm still part of it, but I'm not the one meeting the contractors and meeting the subs and going there all the time. Someone does that now, and he actually likes the work, right? again, I can't stand it, but he loves it. So that's why he's doing it. Um, I think there's a real fear in this where you just, again, you're not convinced that someone else will be able to run it smoothly. Someone else isn't going to do it as well as you. And this isn't just in the remodel, it's every part of this business. And I think what uh, I'm finally listening to people around me with is it people don't have to do it the same way that I'm doing it. People don't even have to do it as well as I might do something. If someone can do something 80% as well as I would do it, a lot of these things we're doing, that's enough, right? So you have to be able to, a couple things. You have to know how much of this you should be doing in the beginning. You need to know every part of it, but then you need to start learning what parts you can let go of and what parts you can relinquish some control on. Otherwise, you won't be able to grow. And I think with our business, I was the bottleneck in some regards. Like we've got 5 or 6 projects right now that are going to go live all at the same time, and it's only because I let someone else run a couple of these that were able to finish these relatively quickly. Because at some point you can only do so many at once, and at some point you just start working on too many, and all of them progress a little bit, but nothing gets done, and you're always at that last 10% stage, and then you're stuck there, right? So you got to be able to let go on some of these. You need to figure out what is your own role on this. Uh, I know having control feels like strength, and I understand that. I do. But sometimes it's not really strength. You're just afraid of what is going to happen. You're afraid of uncertainty, right? And you have to admit that too. Uh, I think for me, I've just been the one doing all of it for a long time. So it was that much more difficult to let other people do some of these things that they wanted to do. There's people around me who want to do these things and they want to take things off of my plate and they want to run with it. So that's what we've been doing, and I think it leads to a lot less friction. It makes things go smoother. Even when there's little bumps in the road here and there, they're a lot easier to manage because there's people who are doing the stuff that they're starting to get good at. Um, I look at this a lot of this as a chore, where a lot of people look at it as uh, uh, a craft or a skill, right? I know the thing that I do really well is I talk with the sellers of these properties. I do really well with that. I like talking to these homeowners, and we oftentimes talk for hours at their house. And not everyone around me likes doing that. There's people who don't want to talk to sellers at all, right? Which I don't. I think you got to get over that part because there's not going to be much of this business for you if you don't ever talk to homeowners. But me personally, I think I do that very well. I like talking to the homeowners. I like hearing their stories. I like hearing how they got where they're at and where they're going to be going. And I think that, most people I talk with feel very comfortable with me very quickly and very early on because I am actively engaged and I genuinely want to know more about this. So that's becoming more and more my only role at this point is I need to reach out to homeowners. I need to talk to homeowners, and I need to find properties that we can buy and find these solutions for these people that we meet that work for everybody. Um, I think, in the beginning, you do all these things on your own. You start getting other people around you, right? And at some point, other people love the things that you're just tolerating, right? And that for me, that's the remodeling and the all that part. I don't love it at all. I can admit that. And you know, having this is something I think too that even a lot of friends of mine who've done this for a long time, they struggle with this too, where they won't give up control on certain things that maybe they should, and maybe it'd be easier for them to run the business that way too. But this is something I think we all need to figure out. I think it's as you grow and as your business grows, you just need to figure out that you can't do everything all the time. And if you really want to make, really good revenue and good income, you need to be able to delegate the right things. And you need to decide what it is that you're doing. You can't let your identity be tied into any particular role, I think. And that's maybe that was part of my problem is I felt if I'm not doing all of this, then I'm not doing anything or contributing at all. But that's just not true. So, if your business cannot breathe without you, then the business is not a very good business. I think control made me feel like I'm competent and I felt strength from it. But letting go of a lot of things, I think that teaches you really whether you're competent or not, right? Letting someone else take the reins means you were competent enough to show someone else how to do it, and now they're doing it. The goal isn't to be needed in every single facet of the business. The goal should be making yourself irreplaceable in parts that are important. I think everyone's goal should be, even if you do a job, I tell my son the same thing. Do your job so well that they can't replace you. Pick a few things that you're just going to be excellent at and do those things really well. Rather than do 500 things really poorly, do a few things very well and you're going to be better off for it.